Hello there, welcome back to profneel. When the ihcl VP HR's office called up, it seemed like just another day when I got a call on my mobile, an unknown number, a lady who first wished me the time of the day. The typical hotel, I realized it was hospitality industry greeting, the way they wished me. And then very tentatively she affirmed whether she was speaking to Professor Neil. Once was confirmed, it was confirmed. She introduced herself and said that she was calling from Mr. Gaurav Pokhriyal, the VP HR IHCL's office, and his profile needed a little bit of a new dimension and some new perspective because he was interacting with the media, interacting with the education institutions, addressing seminars, workshops, and his profile has got old, it had got outdated. It needed a new perspective, a new objective, a new dimension. So then the request came, sir, I need your may I request you for memories of Mr. Pokhriyal as a teacher? For a moment I thought, would I be able to rise up to the expectations that after all he's IHCL, he's no longer my student. He's the IHCL VP HR. But curiosity got the better of me, as I said. And she said, sir, this is confidential between you and I. Mr. Pokhriyal should not know of this till the time you send me your reviews. And then I merge it with the old profile and I present it to him. So then I asked her, Ms. Manotra, I mean, you and I are absolute strangers. Then how did you know about me? Where did you get my number from? And then I smiled when she said that, sir, Mr. Parveen Chandra Kumar, Mr. Pokhriyal's coursemate and the Vice President Sales and Marketing, I went to him for his assistance. And he said, only Professor Neil, and shared your number. He'll do it for you. I said, don't just go and call him, he'll do it for you. So now that the cat was out of my bag, out of the bag, I told her, and I knew that she was waiting for it as if she wanted it yesterday, but she was a little, she could not say it because I was, after all, the VPHR's teacher. So I told her, I assuaged her nerves, calmed her down. I said, it's Wednesday today. I'll try to send you to you by Saturday. My first draft. Let's see. I thought it would be very, very difficult to do this for Gaurav Pokhriyal's memories as a VPHR. When for Gaurav, any of my students, I would do it immediately. Within half an hour, tough to send it. But now that he was VPHR, it had to be worded very carefully. It had to be each word had to be thought clearly. Then, so I tried very hard, and I thought a bit more than necessary, and I surprised myself by mailing it to her by Thursday. For good measure, I added a CC to Parveen Chandra Kumar. Parveen Chandra Kumar's response was one word: amazing. Now, Gaurav replied back to me. He didn't mention anything except for thank you, sir, for reviving memories of the good old days when he played cricket. Now that Parveen had not asked for anything for himself, when I would have asked if I was in Parveen's place, I was touched by sincerity and I decided to draft one for him and I sent it to him. Within half an hour, I drafted and sent it to him. I titled it Smiling Assassin, which he is. His response, wow, you remember everything about me. And after, in a conversations later, I told him I could draft a profile, my memories on each one of you as unique as you are. Because you were my students and I was a teacher. But Parveen's remark to Ms. Manotra that Mr. Muneel, he'll do it for you. I set me thinking, am I the only teacher who's called for this? Because Parveen was not the first. Sometime earlier, Meher Sarad class, my class was 1991, I just called her one day and said, sir, it's Urvashi's birthday next month. I'm compiling a memories book. I need your memories of Urvashi and 48 hours timeline, period. It doesn't matter. That's it. The call is over. I didn't have a choice but to give it to her. Later, the same week, on Facebook, I get a message from a lady, a stranger. Sir, I am Sandhya. And my sister Sahiti Kadam was a student. It's Sahiti's 50th birthday next month, sir. We're compiling a surprise as a surprise for her, a memory book. And we need your memories of her as a teacher, and that would be a greater surprise. So it's confidential between you and I. I did that. It was enjoying, very enjoyable. But then I wanted to find out why was I chosen, why me always among all the teachers. And I checked with all the students I knew, about 1,000 of them. The common factor was that I always had in me to build relationships, create relationships, and sustain them. I kept in touch with all of them. I was always approachable. And then on their birthdays, I would personalize message for them with a moniker. It's just not happy birthday. It would be unique for each person, with the incident mentioned or with the moniker mentioned, which would add. And so they felt very nice about it. And as the student quoted, I jumped on a call whenever I heard a student was going through a crisis. Though I could not help, but just my calling made a difference. And I always would do that immediately. In other words, I was carrying on my responsibility as a teacher, then as a job as a teacher. The reason, maybe, for a couple of my students to call on me to mentor their children for their competitive exams, 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard, and other competitive exams, IEL, TS also. Now, why does all this happen? Because I only try to create and maintain relationships. Could be true because I trained at the Taj Connemara in 1985, Taj Connemara Madras. But since then, I've been in touch with my supervisors. It's almost 5 plus 23, 28 years. And I know, I mean, I'm in touch with each one of them. Even though they moved out from Madras, they married, some of them in Bangalore, some in Delhi, some are in other places. But I still maintain touch with them. And it gives me a certain delight. And in relationships, there are no bookkeeping practices. How many times the other person responded? How many times the other person called you back? No. It's a simple matter of, it's so easy now. It's a simple matter of a text or a call. And in 2015, after I published my memoirs, I received a call again from a lady, this time a student, unknown number. And she had passed out in 1992. And she called up. We had not met after that, and nor have we established any contact after that. We are out of touch. And then she called to say that she had read my book and my memoirs. Then I asked her about herself, and then she said she was working with ihcl Calcutta, and then she married an Indian Army officer, and he left the army after he was the commanding officer of the Rajput regiment, and then she went into uh, a kind of level in which I knew she was choosing her words very carefully, like a jeweler would choose gemstones or jewels for a necklace, precious necklace, a priceless necklace. She said, "Sir, as you're aware, an Indian Army officer has to be a role model for his men whom he leads. He has to lead from the front." And she went on and on and on the Indian Army officer, and I was wondering what she was talking about. She has to lead from the front to motivate and inspire them, and etc. And each word, she was pausing. The intonation was perfect. The pause, the tone, the word. It was. I don't recall the exact word, but I can recall that conversation so well. It's a very beautiful conversation. I mean, a remark that she had said that day. And at the end of it, she says, "Sir, you inspired us." And I tell you, that remark, that compliment, feedback, I rank as invaluable because it was from an army officer's wife. And I'd always been inspired by the Indian Army officer. And I'd failed to join the Indian Army. So I learned, I'd inspired them all without realizing as a role model. Because my focus was only on my efforts, not on whether they would remember me after 3 years. My only focus was they would have to be the creme de la creme, the best of best. And that was what my focus on the efforts, keep pegging away on the efforts. Live in the moment, embrace the effort to enjoy the unexpected turn of the fruit. Thank you. Bye.